Hey everyone, it's Kevin here with Boardgamist.com. Today what I want to talk about is actually a pretty neat game. It's called Frantic Frankfurt. It's free in the iTunes store, but I want to do a review of it anyway. It's kind of a neat game. What it boils down to, it's a fast-playing solitaire variant is what I'm going to call it. It's a pretty fun game, and the neat thing is there are really only 2 rules. So that's kind of cool. Let me go in, I'm going to show you the 2 rules. They're easy to get and they're pretty self-explanatory, but I'll go over them here really quickly. The first rule is this. There are 4 different colors, or 4 different suits pretty much, and the numbers go from 1 to 20. Whenever we're playing, we're going to be always playing from the bottom row of 4 onto the top 2, we have to always try and play a higher number and a different color. So the examples here we've got a yellow 18 on top. Now we've got a yellow 20 below, but because they're the same color, I can't play the yellow 20 onto the yellow 18. What I can do, just to show you, is I'm going to take this red 18 and I'm going to play it. And there we go. Now, that's the first rule. Always play a higher number and a different color. The second rule lets us place a smaller odd numbered card on top of a larger card that's even on top. So I'm going to place the yellow 9 on top of the yellow 18. And that's really one of our ways to go in and get the numbers lower. So we're going to build the numbers up and then make them a little bit lower. Build the numbers up and make them lower. So here's a great example. I've got a red 18 at the up top. I can now play the red 1 and get back down. And then I can start building up again. And then obviously the regular rules will still apply as we start building up past that point as well. There are 4 types of game. The endless is just what it sounds like. It's timed so that if you're taking too long to make a play, it'll start dealing more cards and just sort of spewing them out. So you've got to play pretty fast to get them going. The run just means that there are no extra draws. Generally, when you need it, there's a way to draw cards as you play the cards down. And the run just says you go until you can't make any more moves, and then you're done. So just a neat way. The 60-second version is actually kind of addictive. You're trying to do 100 moves, 100 cards in 60 seconds. Well, you can do the math, and obviously you need to be moving fairly quickly and be putting cards down very steadily to make that work. I'm just going to go in here quick to the 60 cards version to show you a couple more things. Like some variants of Solitaire, you are able to arrange the piles a little bit down below. If you're able to work down until you've got an empty space, well, clearly you can drag a card into the empty space. The other way is that you can drag a lower number of the same color onto a higher number. So you can, obviously you don't want to make your pile too large, but I can drag the 9 onto the 16, and I could drag the 3 onto the 9 if I wanted to, just to give you an idea of how this works. The idea being you're trying to dig for other cards that will try and help you so you can eventually get rid of these cards from the top and work your way back out of the hole. So that's something familiar to most people, but it works well with the game. There are 2 ways you can play Frantic Frankfurt with another person. One is over Bluetooth, and the other is via Game Center. And there are 2 of the 4 variants you can play. One here is the endless version, and the other is the 60-second version. So you can play against each other and see who's the better player, I guess. You can play locally or you can play over the internet. One thing I'm not a big fan of really is the artwork. It's okay, it's a little cartoonish. I'm not really sure. I'm not really a big fan of that. What's neat is that it does depict some of the different buildings around Frankfurt. I can't really identify them. I have never visited Frankfurt, but that's a cool feature. The other thing that's kind of weird is that I did find the music kind of annoying, and I couldn't really see a way to turn it off at first. But the way to get in there and get to the options is really there's a little pause button. Once you hit the pause button, you can get in, and then that's when you can turn the music on or off. And you can go back and resume the game. So let me run through a couple of turns just to show you how this might work. So I got the 5 and the 14 up top. I got my numbers down below. So on the 5, I can play the blue 9, play the yellow 10. I'll just throw in the red 12, and then what I can do, if I wanted to bring it back down again, is I could play the red 1 onto the 12, and keep going from there. If I run out of moves, I can go ahead and move the 9 onto the 10, and start working my way up again if I can try and find something that's going to work for me. Etc, etc, etc. Hey, if you're into card games, if you like Solitaire, it's definitely worth checking out and seeing whether you like it or not. If you enjoyed my review, hey, make sure you like it or leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Take care.